Scorpio. God bless this reading. All right, Scorpio, I was going to smoke this mugwort, but you know what? I'm just going to take it like a pill or something. Hopefully I won't get green stuff in my teeth. All right. So I'm going to be using the Urban Tarot deck for you. Hi. Hi, Scorpios. I'm sorry that I'm late, but I'm here. September. Who's here? So excited to hear what's in store. Claudia. Okay, so you guys, before I start your readings, this reading is probably gonna be about 20 minutes, okay? And I would like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, I'm Providence Tarot there. I'm also NYC Kendrick. That's my personal account, okay? You can see all kinds of things from me. Definitely email providencetarotKendrick@gmail.com if you would like a reading, and I'm going to leave information in the description box below if you'd like to donate. So there are some messages that came in to me for you, Scorpio, as I was getting ready for your reading, because it takes me a while to meditate on energy before I do a reading, and they're random things. I got mangled, caught in something you don't want to be in, and then I also got like knots, right? And then, so maybe some of you guys are feeling mangled. Maybe you need to get a massage or something kind of like that, you know, like some sort of like tactile holistic therapy where touch is involved, or maybe where you're actually making something with your hands or building something, and it'll be quite meditative for you. Also, I got someone ate bad food or something else, or someone else ate bad food. So be careful of where you eat. Don't try anything new if you haven't had it before, or if you know something bothers you, or if you know you're allergic or you have a slight intolerance. Don't have whatever that thing is. And that could also be drinking too much too. Could have come in that way. Something expiring or shutting off or ending or being over. So this could be, you guys may have to like pay a bill before something gets shut off, or maybe you're planning to have something shut off, or maybe you're planning to shut off a service in order to save money or something like that, or it could be something covering expenses for something, so you're shutting something off so you can do that, or this could just be something expiring that you knew would, or time running out on something, or something coming to a close. But we know that you guys are used to that. And then I have another thing that came in right before, I actually got ready to do the reading, and it said letting someone get into your head about something, or someone casting doubt, right? Okay, so I had to write it down. My friend is always telling me to write stuff down, and I'm always thinking like, maybe I'll remember, but I won't. So I have to write it down. So here we go. I'm shuffling your cards. Like I said, I'm using the Urban Tarot deck. This is for Scorpio, September 2019. Let's see what their messages are. This deck is sort of thought-based. It's by a tarot illustrator. Her name is Robin Scott. Okay, I think I had her name right the last time. I just wasn't sure. So let me go ahead and shuffle these. I'm doing it right here in front of you. Then I'm going to lay it out. I'm just going to do a classic Providence Tarot Ascendant spread. Just to let you guys know, I'm going to be putting out the weeklies tonight, hopefully. I have maybe 4 classes to teach today, so maybe I won't be too tired by the time I'm done with those. So let's see what's going on. In the Virgo season, we have a Libra new moon coming up, cleansing of relationships, understanding, a clearing out of a relationship. So what's under here? Success, 6 of Pentacles, moon in Taurus. That's moon in another Venetian sign, right? And that's the sign that's opposite you. So there could be something coming in terms of relationship. There could be some fairness playing out, or there could be some sort of like responding, right? Some responsibility, right? Because that was a Pentacles card, and it was the 6 of Pentacles, right? And it talks about success, right? So it talks about how responsible you have to be in order to achieve success, right? Because success doesn't come in the form of luck. Maybe sometimes, but success usually comes when you work hard for it, and Moon and Taurus is talking about that. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck we have the Fool, which is Uranus, right? And Uranus is actually exalted in Scorpio, okay? So this is talking about change, right? And that's what I was talking about when I said something came into my head that said something was expiring or shutting off. And then I said that Yes, that one. Something expiring or shutting off. And then this is also radical change. You know what I mean? These are things that sort of happen suddenly. They could come in the form of accidents, or they could come in the forms of a new perspective or a change perspective that was sort of like not necessarily forced upon you, but it was something that just happened to you or fine. It's like a great shift. You know, Uranus is actually in your your house of relationships right now, which is Taurus. And it's funny that the Six of Pentacles came up before, which is the moon in Taurus, and we did talk about that. So there might be a new moon in Taurus that comes in your season during Scorpio time, and then we probably will be around that Mercury retrograde season. So you guys might be revisiting something that has to do with time. This Fool card also has to do with optimism and faith, but it's also some sort of like clairvoyance or a clear head or a clear mind. You might even be dealing with a Libra, Scorpio. Okay, you could be dealing with a Libra. You could be dealing with Aries. You could definitely be dealing with another Scorpio, or for sure an Aquarius. Definitely, which squares your energy. We just had an Aquarius full moon right before the Pisces full moon. Okay, this Pisces full moon actually trined your energy. You know what I mean? And it was, what do we have anything else? No, the only water sign that we had anything in right now was Pisces. So there could have been some kind of like difficulties or struggles in terms of like having to finish something or having to close something out, like I said before with my notepad that the stuff came up in my head. But you know, closing something out, this is a radical change that close something out for you or finish something out for you, or you're just trying to see something new. You just kind of want to get rid of the old as well. There could have been something that was stale. You know, it could have been a relationship that was stale that you felt like you wanted to get rid of. It could have been a business partnership because the Six of Pentacles came up. It could have been something that you were doing with someone because it's the six, right? And the sixes do relate to that, you know, the lovers, okay, which is Mercury. And that talks about communicative energy of relating to an experience where other people are involved and everyone's getting something out of it. So you may have felt like, no, you may have felt like you and other people who may have been involved or affected by whatever was going on within the circumstances of, or within the situation, it was stale. So something needed to change. Let me go ahead and lay these cards out. Yeah, I cut it already. I'm sorry. I get to talking. And I talk fast too. I'm sorry, Scorpio. But then I'm always doing this like when I have right before I have to leave the house because you know when I wake up in the morning I'm like, oh God, I'm tired, and then I kind of get like a little bit distracted because I'm like posting stuff, I'm checking stuff, then I'm like I need to clean, you know what I mean? I gotta straighten up, I gotta pick something out to wear to teach in, I gotta, you know, all this stuff. Anyway, so here we go. Okay, so you got the Princess of Discs here, okay? So this is talking about being very like you're looking forward to these new beginnings, right? You understand that there is something that you can get out of a situation that's in its new beginning. You know what I mean? And that's probably where this Fool card came up because it is talking about a new beginning. It is talking about, you know, taking risks as well because Uranus is a risk taker, right? Definitely with the radical change being there, right? And Uranus is esoterically rules Libra. So this is definitely a change of perspective. This is a great perspective, right? That's why this person is standing on the roof, right? This change in perspective might be risky because it doesn't necessarily align with the old you or with the way that you might have been doing things before because that Six of Pentacles came up, and the Six of Pentacles is talking about how you sort of have been seasoned or you've been set in a way or a circumstance, right? Or, you know, a belief system that basically is because of, you know, where you've been placed or what you agreed to, because the sixes do have to do with like agreeing, right? It's very agreeable energy, right? I'm here because I chose to be here. It does talk about choices too. So you were understanding that you had a choice, that you could change something, that you didn't have to keep the same, that, you know, just the way that it has been. You know what I mean? And this is good change, you know. Right, because with the moon being very evolved, right, and wanting to change all the time because she's always affected by her experiences externally, right? And then it's kind of like Taurus is like not really trying to be affected by those external influences because it's very, you know, closed in behind that fence, right? It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. But the moon is kind of like I need you to go deeper and see something inside of yourself that you need, that needs to be nurtured, that needs to be fed, that's not being nurtured or fed within this place that you're allowing yourself to stay. You know what I mean? And that's probably why that Six of Pentacles said that there was some sort of like hope, and that was the beauty of the change, of the evolution, right? Because you understand with that six being kind of mutable, right? Because it's related to the house of a change, right? Because the sixth house is a house of change, although it's Earth, right? It's just talking about being able to adjust and being able to adapt to things when you feel like they need to be, and that's very, a fixed sign really is changing something when it really needs to be changed. You know what I mean? And this could be a relationship for some of you. It could have something to do with, how you govern the way you mother, or your mothering skills, or the things that you allow, that type of thing. You know what I mean? Or it could just be like, how much time and energy, right, being the moon, how much time you put into providing more security, or providing more of a relationship as a mother, or with a mother, or something like that. You know what I mean? And the Princess of Discs do represent children sometimes. This is the kindergarten teacher, right? So kindergarten babies, children, that type of thing. And the kindergarten teacher is also talking about someone that is learning as well, right? So you are learning from a younger energy, or you're learning from a situation that it's probably in its infancy, or you're dealing with an infant, that type of thing. Or you might be feeling a little bit just insecure within a reality that you are in, right? That you're hopeful in. That's why the Uranus card is here, the Fool is here. But at the same time, you still know that there's more that you could do, or there's more, that could develop, right? Or there's more evolving, there's more gradual growth here that you understand is possible. Okay, and the challenge for that is art, right? This is the Temperance card, and this is number 14, right? It's the awareness of, a foundation, or the awareness of self. Okay, and when you have the awareness of self, because you are your foundation, right? So you can always go inward and try to understand, because there's nothing that's going to come from anyone else, right? Except for maybe God, you know what I mean, or whatever you believe in, that is going to help you under determine what it is that your spirit might be learning, or it might be going through at any given time, because nobody can tell you this is what your spirit is going through at this time. You know what I mean? Who's going to tell you that? You. So you have to go inward, and you have to deal with that sort of like spiritual alchemy of understanding you on the inside, and then everything else out there. And number 14, reduces to a 5, which is related to the Hierophant. Okay, and that's talking about belief system and spirituality, and your connection to God within your situation that you've placed yourself into, in to believe that this is your norm. You know what I mean? But you know that there's something else. You know that there's something better, or not even better. There's something greater, right? Because those fives are talking about challenges. So it's what you do with the challenges that you have. It's like you have a card of challenge in the challenge position, right? So you definitely really are faced with a challenge here, right? Of a new beginning, and where do you go from here? How are you going to allow something to develop now? Because something has changed, right? The Princess of Discs does talk about change. The Fool does talk about change. How are you going to deal with this change, right? Because you're still in a place where you're in the spot of trying to adjust, or deal with it, or settle in with what you're being taught here, or what is being extracted from you, right? Definitely, you know what extraction is about, being a Scorpio, right? And then, this card is saying, like, what are you going to do with that energy? How are you going to channel that energy, right? Because it is also talking about Archangel Michael, definitely, right? And battling some part of yourself that feels like the challenge is just kind of like this evil or dark energy that you are faced with. You know what I mean? That's getting in the way of you living your life. And it's saying this actually is life, right? So it's saying, like, when you actually deal with whatever this challenge is that you're facing, right? That has to probably do with maybe a relationship, right? Or a commitment, some sort of like foundation, or something that you have allowed yourself to settle into for a while here, that needs to be changed in some way, shape, or form. Okay, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or if you have Sun in the 8th house, or if you have Mars in Scorpio. Some of y'all have Mars and Pluto in Scorpio. In the past, Queen of Cups, this is Cancer energy. This is someone that is very connected to their feminine aspect, right, of healing. Okay, so you could have sought ways to heal from this. You could have become a mother in the past, right? Or you could have been, dealing with going to a therapist. You know what I mean? Some of you actually, this is the therapist card. So some of you may have needed to go to a therapist, right? Some of you probably are doing that, and that's why this art card came up. This is a thought-based tarot deck, but this is Temperance, and that is the Queen of Cups. So when you think of Temperance, there are two cups in the Temperance traditional, right? Dealing with it, alchemy, and the Queen of Cups definitely knows how to take that spiritual energy of emotions, right, and turn it into creativity. Okay, so creativity comes in many different forms. What are you doing with it? How are you processing it? How are you identifying with your emotional self? How are you identifying with your creative self? You know what I mean? I posted a video last night of me going into a studio and dancing, and I had to pay money to do it, but I loved doing it. You know what I mean? And I had a very good spiritual time, honey. I cried. I think I did. I can't even remember. It was so uplifting. You know what I mean? Anyway, but this is, you guys need to be uplifted. I feel like you need to be uplifted, right? Because you've come to not a fork in the road, or you're at a point where you need to sort of like decide how you are going to deal with the challenges that you face, because you can't get rid of the challenges. You just have to choose how you're going to deal with the challenges that you face, right? So if some of you guys need to take some sort of like healing, you need to commit, right? Because this is talking about committing to the healing process. Okay. um some of you guys might be getting some advice from your mother about some things that you might be facing, some challenges you might be facing. you know she could actually be involved in this commitment, right, business wise. Or she might be heavily involved in, giving you some insight, or this person who is representative of the Queen of Cups. This could even just be you. You know what I mean? You needing to go and see someone for whatever reason. This could be yoga. This could be actually seeing a therapist. This could be, going and doing something that is going to make you feel good about your body, right? Anyway, let me move on. In your sun position, what we're bringing focus into right now is the Seven of Wands. This is Valor. So we know that this is Mars in Leo, right? So this is your original planetary ruler being in a sign that is squaring you, right? So there could be some difficulties here in you facing some opposition, right? And then it also talks about how you deal with yourself when you in relating to the experience. You know what I mean? And this is what I was talking about your emotions, right? And that subconscious part of you, because this is seven, so it's related to the Chariot. So it is talking about your emotional subconscious and how it plays itself out, right? When out through you, through your how you respond to things, right? Because Mars is very reactionary, right? And Leo is like impulsive. Mars and Leo are impulsive. So this is talking about, how what is your emotional impulse? It is to protect who you are. It is to stand up for yourself, right? So you could be just feeling like if you don't do what it is that you feel like you need to do to fend off whatever it is that's making you feel challenged by your experience, right? Because this is talking about the expiration, or that thing that's ending or shutting something off, or something being over, right? You might just be feeling tired, right? And you want the struggle to be over. You know what I mean, Scorpio, in that kind of sense too. You just might be feeling like people might just be up against you, you know what I mean? And people that you trust too. You might just be feeling like people that you trust or once trusted might be up against you, or you might just be feeling like they're oppositional energy, because it doesn't necessarily mean that they're against you. It could just mean that you're feeling their oppositional energy, because we all definitely feel, you know, energy from other people, and we can sense it even if we're not around them, especially if you're a water sign. Okay. And this is definitely letting someone get into your head about something or casting doubt, right? Because that's what I said too. That was the very last thing I said. Letting someone get into your head about something or casting doubt. I'm at 20 minutes, man. So I'm gonna have to make this like 30 minutes, or I'm giving you 10 more minutes. I'm sorry, and then maybe I'll just have to do a part two later. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what I'll have to do. I need to figure out like what time it is, y'all. Hold on 1 second, okay? Don't go anywhere. Okay, we're good. I got 10 minutes. So, gosh, barely. So, in the moon position, you have the Prince of Swords, which is also talking about changing your perspective and changing the ways of how you think, right? Because the hacker is definitely rewiring things, right? It's kind of like tapping into the mind, right? I said letting someone get into your head about something or casting doubt. And look, we have the hacker right here getting into the computer system, getting into the mental space, right? And it's like you're letting your thoughts get the best of your emotions. You know what I mean? Because they could be just working overtime, really working overtime to try to figure some things out, try to crack some codes, perhaps. You know what I mean? Because the Prince of Swords is definitely, at a stage of wanting to know more, right? It's kind of like, definitely. And I feel like just because it's evolved into this, it's evolved into you wanting to know more questions or wanting to get more answers or trying to figure more things out or having to pull teeth, that type of thing. Because the moon is talking about evolution, right? And it's talking about you having to really work hard, right? Because the princes and the princesses have to work a little bit harder because they aren't as developed, right? So it's kind of like you definitely understand what it is that you can do, right? You understand your capabilities, right? But now it's kind of like you're exercising your capabilities a little bit more, right? You're putting a little bit more effort and energy into it. But then this is also asking questions. This is also saying, like, maybe saying the wrong thing, right? Somebody may have said the wrong thing and affected you emotionally, or maybe you said the wrong thing and triggered someone else, right? Or maybe someone's emotions triggered something that they said that affected someone, probably you. You know what I mean? Right? And this is being emotionally detached from, right? Because this card that's completely emotionally detached, right? Because it's all air, completely emotionally detached in the moon position. So it's saying that you're not getting someone to understand because that's the youthful energy of the page or the prince. You're not getting someone to understand your emotional perspective. And the sevens are related to the chariot, and that's talking about emotional instinct, right? Awareness. And you want them to be as aware of your emotions, and they're totally not. Four positions. The four positions. No, sorry, I'm talking fast. The Four of Swords is talking about, this is a truce, right? So this is talking about arrest. It says truce on here at the bottom. So truce is talking about trust, and it's talking about truth, right? So this is acknowledgement, right? Because it's a four. So we're acknowledging something. We're identifying the truth about something here so that we can grow spiritually, right? And emotionally. And we are making a conscious effort to do so. Okay, so you're falling back from something. You're trying to make a situation better because you know it's your responsibility, because the fours are talking about responsibility to do so. It's your responsibility to make this situation better and to clear the air, right? But you have anxieties about clearing the air. You have anxieties about coming together, in terms of you're not ready. You may not be ready to talk to somebody about something so that you can kind of like settle the score. You know what I mean? Because that's what a truce is, settling the score. But it's doing so in a way where both parties or everyone understands. But the four is also talking about completion. So this is the completion of a concept or of a concept perception, right? Or this is someone this is someone, this is, questioning your being too. You might be having anxieties because you're questioning who you are right now. Okay? The devil in your Mars position. Okay, so the devil is definitely talking about unhealthy attachments to things that may not be good for you. I mean, unhealthy. And also, it's talking about work. So, this might have to deal with work, or this might have to do with someone at work, or this might have, right? It is Mars, so it could be a Scorpio or it could be a Aries, but this is the devil card. So, you know what I mean? and that's Capricorn, and that's talking about work and consumption, right? So there's somebody could be spending more money, or you might be wondering where some money might have been, or you might just be spending more money. You might be having the impulse to spend more money because of your insecurities right now, or because just because of the way that things are going. It's almost like something that you can't control, because the devil is talking about consumption. It's talking about control. It's also talking about teeth as well. You know what I mean? So it might even be with a dentist. It's talking about decay as well. So you might have, it's kind of like just watch out for people that are like not good, right? For you, and you might be resenting someone, right? You might be actively showing resentment towards someone that you feel some sort of like disgust for, right? Or you might be acting on that resentment because the devil is talking about being in a situation that you feel like you want to get yourself out of. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, things can actually get very sour. What did I say? I posted something earlier this week that said sweet talk can leave a bitter taste in your mouth. But this is the devil being in a position that it likes to be in. So you actually yourself might be actually trying to be a little bit more cunning, or you might be using a little bit of force to get what it is that you want, because the devil is willing to use force to get what he wants, and Mars definitely is willing to use force to get what he wants. The devil is talking about building, and it's something building over time. Something may have grown over time to decay. Something may have decayed over time. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Anyway, now we're looking at the Princess of Cups in the Venus position, and this is a good card. Okay, so this is talking about your creativity, right? So we were touching on that at the beginning of the reading, and this card is called the Costume Designer, right? So this is saying that you're thinking of new ways of, practicing your creativity. What are you building? It's almost like you have some new ideas and you have some fresh takes on things. This kind of might be a little bit out of the box, or it might be a little bit weird. You know what I mean? That type of thing. Also, this has to do with healing, right? It has to do with healing a relationship. It's talking about healing a relationship in playful ways, right? There might have to be, you might have to just like submit to whatever feeling that you may have in terms of how a relationship may have affected you emotionally, or some of the things that you couldn't control based on your own imagination, right? And sort of like being a little like deluded in your mind or in your feelings, right? Anyway, we're getting back into like the playful childish energy, and you might actually have to do something that you're uncomfortable with just to kind of like break the cycle. Also, it's just saying like practice your own beauty. You know what I mean? Get in touch with your own beautiful side right now. Do things that are good for you that are going to make you feel good. Do things that are good for you that are going to make you feel good. Do things that are good for you that are going to make you feel good, Scorpio. Now, let me look at your other card here. In the future, you have futility, which is the Seven of Swords. So, this is talking about, weighing out the truth of a situation, understanding where there might have been some misconceptions, right? Or you may have misperceived things or underperceived things. This could be somebody trying to get away with, bending the truth about something. Okay, and the Psalms are talking about confidently, being very communicative. Okay, and doing so without being apologetic about it. You know what I mean? It definitely is saying. Be very clear on what it is that you understand is happening. Okay. In the future position, you have wealth. So this is saying there's going to be a great improvement on money and career. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that you're changing, or whatever it is that you feel like creatively that you want to do. This is Mercury in Virgo, and Mercury is, Mercury rules Virgo. Mercury loves being in Virgo. Mercury has just left Virgo and is now in Libra. And this is a 10. So you might be dealing with a Capricorn, or you might be dealing with work, or you might just be dealing with some bills, or you might have to be dealing with something financially, right? You're thinking about your money or adjusting some finances. You might be refinancing some sort of like property or something that is of great value. You know what I mean? So that could be happening, or this could just be saying that you're going to reinvest something, or you're going to invest in something, or someone will invest in you. Someone is going, this could be you you buying stock. This could just be you getting a car. This could be like there's some level of growth here that's going to happen materially, and it could come in the form of money. It could come in the form of a raise for some of you, or it could come in the form of something just improving in a way that brings more value to your experience. Okay. Or this could just be career improvement for some of you guys. Now, let me flip over the last card. It's the Ace of Wands, which is definitely going back to this 10 of Pentacles that just popped up, right? The Ace of Wands is talking about new beginnings. It's talking about focus. It's talking about energy. It's talking about passion. It's talking about drive. And the Aces are talking about, this could even talk about the full moon that happens in Aries during the time of Libra. You know what I mean? Because the Ace of Wands definitely talk about fire energy. It definitely talks about the first, definitely being aware of what you need to do in this situation. Okay, I feel like you're ready to inject some new energy into a situation, and I feel like you understand, right? You know that you're going to be the one that's going to have to push this forward to get everyone to see, or to even just get yourself to see, right, what it is that needs to be done, because it talks about responsibility as well, and it's very spiritual, and it's a challenge, right, because it is bringing focus to something. So every time you bring focus to something, there's an opportunity to step up to a challenge. So I feel like some of you guys are definitely going to be stepping up to a challenge here. Who, Scorpio? I love you guys. I will talk to you later. I need to get out of here. Bye. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram.